Hello, and very happy to see you on my channel. Tonight, we update you with a piece of breaking news. Ex-Royal Protection Officer claims Meghan Markle craved attention, while poor Harry wishes for privacy. The couple shocked the world in January with the announcement they and their son Archie would no longer be participating in royal life. Meghan and Harry are now living in Los Angeles during coronavirus lockdown. Meghan and Harry will never get the peace and quiet they want. While appearing on U.S. weekly podcast Royalty US, Mr. Morgan said, "Sadly, no, and I think a lot of it will depend on how they actually engage with people in terms of the ordinary person in the street. People of wealth, viability, and status, the protection team has to allow them to live their normal lives, or the lives that they choose." He continues, "Marrying Harry elevated her from being a B-class actress and a left-wing activist into the company of A-listers. Privacy may have been Harry's goal, but it certainly wasn't part of Meghan's long-term calculated strategy. You as the protection team have to mitigate all those risks to allow them to achieve that. It would be very easy to just say, 'Don't ever go out, don't ever speak to anyone, and we will put them behind the wire and will protect you.' That's not how people wish to live, so the work is always on the protection team. Meghan doesn't want privacy as that won't feed her ambitions. She's got what she wants, a husband who does as he's told, a baby that ensures hubby will continue to do as he's told, and the spotlight through her royal family connections, which fortunately will diminish. If they'd wanted privacy, they'd have gone to Africa as Harry wanted, but of course, that wouldn't have been suited for Meghan at all." Mr. Morgan continues, "The work is always on them to deliver a protection package that allows them to lead that lifestyle. But ultimately, you just have to mitigate the risks. They can lead that lifestyle, but the protection team really has to bring their A game, and they have to mitigate all the risks that go with it." Mr. Morgan went on to explain how there will always be an interest in the Sussexes. He continued, "So sadly, there will always be an interest in the Sussexes, and that interest may peak and through time as it goes on, but I think the more that they are not in the public eye, the more that they will want to know what they are up to, and that creates its own monster within itself. However, if they keep putting out stories for attention, then the privacy they want will never happen. They did say we are going to America to avoid it all, lead our life away from the press. What happened? Again, he might crave privacy, but she sure as heck doesn't. She thrives on publicity, but only as long as it is positive." Meghan and Harry have been thrust into the limelight again this week with the announcement of another tell-all book on the Duchess. Promotional material for the book says Meghan had an extraordinary accomplished life before she met Prince Harry. It describes their royal wedding as a joyful occasion and adds, "Theirs was a story that the screenwriters of Hollywood, where Meghan had made her name, could scarcely have imagined." But a viewer so angry said, "If they want privacy, they won't earn any money, so what do you think will happen? Not a difficult question, eh? They don't want privacy. They crave publicity, but publicity strictly on their terms. Only stories that are written and released by them and their PR team, with all others blocked. Let's be truthful, they do not really want it, or if they do, only on their terms. They do not wish to live quietly. Had they wanted to do this, they might have gone and sofa surfed in Alaska, say? I think the papers should cease to report on them." Another added, "How can they say privacy? You do not get privacy by writing articles to go on the front page of a magazine. She wants to make money, and she does not want to just go away and be a housewife and mother, not unless everything is paid for her. Writing books about your private life does not get you privacy. They should learn to give up all their PR folks and just go and live a quiet life. They do not need to be seen chasing publicity to do good works. You can be a philanthropist quite quietly, but they like to be seen to be doing good. They are just two people among billions in the world. Just shut up and live a quiet life and no one would think about them anymore. Would they do that? No way, they want publicity as long as it is good." How many folks live in Los Angeles that you never heard of because they do not keep a PR team pouring out information all the time? Skip this news. We continue with other news. The royal family's key worker. Countess of Wessex organizes PPE shipments for ambulance crews and hospital staff across the UK as she volunteers at St. John Ambulance Hub. Sophie, who has been at the forefront of the royal family's response to the crisis, joined the organization Operation Support Hub in Gosport to help out. The royal, who is the grand president of the charity, donned a bright green branded t-shirt as she organized new deliveries and packed PPE shipments for hospital staff, specialist cleaners, first aiders, and ambulance staff. It comes days after she was hailed as a royal key worker by a royal expert for the volunteering she has been carrying out amid the coronavirus pandemic. Sophie could be seen chatting to staff at a social distance during the visit, as well as getting stuck in the storeroom to help sort through personal protective equipment for those on the front line. The royal also thanked volunteers who had been working throughout the pandemic at the hub. She is the only one in the royal family to have helped in a really useful way. She doesn't gurn and wear fancy dresses to impress, just gets on with things. Sophie was always in the shadows when glamorous Diana was alive. It's wonderful to see her stepping out when it counts. She and Edward have had their detractors in the early stages, but they seem to have matured really well. The royal family's official Instagram page went on to share several snaps from Sophie's visit, posting, "The Countess of Wessex, Grand President of St. John Ambulance, today visited the charity's Operational Support Hub to meet and thank volunteers for their work since the COVID-19 outbreak." Volunteers at the hub have been responsible for distributing clothing and PPE to 32 different St. John ambulance sites in the UK, where the charity is supporting the NHS on the front line. The Countess helped to organize these deliveries and PPE shipments to be sent to ambulance crews, specialty cleaners, hospital staff, and first aiders. Ahead of St. John's Day tomorrow, Her Royal Highness also paid tribute to everyone at the hub and others working with St. John Ambulance, who have contributed over 115,000 hours of voluntary service since the outbreak began. The Countess's volunteering effort comes days after royal experts hailed her for her work during the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking of her volunteering efforts, Joe Little, managing editor of Majesty, who branded her a royal key worker, commented, "She is making a difference in a very understated, very Sophie way. It comes as Peregrine Armstrong-Jones of Bentley's Entertainment told People magazine, "There's no fanfare. These are private visits done in her own private time. When she leaves our kitchens, she generally then goes on to do more projects in different hospitals." A friend added, "She was brought up by her parents and there was going to be no free ride in her family. She wasn't born to be the eldest daughter of a duke and duchess and find a marvelous marriage and polish her tiaras." Last week, the royal, who is married to the Queen's youngest son, Prince Edward, was pictured chatting with the staff as she met with the team at the Childline and NSPCC headquarters in London, which is confidential service for under-19s to seek help and support. Sophie, mother to Lady Louise and James, Viscount Severn, also joined the Saints Foundation last Friday to help pack food and prescription parcels for the vulnerable. In a video clip shared on the social media channel, Sophie could be seen donning a high VIS jacket and getting stuck into the volunteering effort. The visit came days after she opened up about adjusting to life in the royal family, speaking of her frustration and admitting it took her a while to find her feet. She told The Times she had to reduce her expectations of what she could actually do and take a really big step back. "I couldn't turn up at a charity and go, 'Right, I think you should be doing this,' because that's what I was used to doing in my working life," she said. A fan so happy and shared his opinion, "Honestly, I didn't see her value when she joined the family, but I'm the idiot. She's proven me wrong. Raised very nice, well-mannered, and respectful, and has taken on more than her share of duties. Meghan took and took, but Sophie is giving a lasting gift of herself and a thoughtful legacy for her future generations." I never thought much of Sophie either. She seemed rather standoffish. In hindsight, though, I think she struggled with Diana's comparisons and did her best to be the complete opposite by having the independent career woman image, which if anything made her profile worse. Another fan also wrote, "I love Sophie. What a lovely, genuine, and hardworking woman she is. Before criticizing other members of the family, it's important to remember that they are in different positions. Just like how Sofia of Sweden was able to volunteer in a hospital, Victoria couldn't, because she is an heir. Instead of criticizing and comparing who has done what, ask yourself, what have you done for this pandemic? And the last one wrote, really pleased Sophie is helping the less talked about parts of the NHS. I know ambulance people were less equipped and lower down the pecking order for protection equipment, and they really are the front line. She is a lovely person, fair play. Sophie has been doing a bit of everything, helping and shining spotlights in all the right places. I am happy to see more of her. I like what she's about. Well done, Sophie. And you? What do you think about Sophie and my news today? Please let me know in the comment section below and we can talk. Don't forget to like and share my video for anyone you think is interested. Also, subscribe to my new version to get more news from the royal family. Now goodbye and see you in the next video.
Hello everyone, Meghan and Harry are facing the opposite, this disagreement about how their feelings will turn out. One of them will have to accept and yield to the other, and who will give up his own mind to maintain a stable relationship, and most of all, if both are not fierce, I believe that divorce will soon appear, not rumors, and how will Archie be? Please continue to follow the developments of the event.